gonna sound absolutely crazy. I mean, everything I say sounds pretty crazy, but listen. So I was cleaning out the underworld. Long story, it was a couple months ago. And I had spiritual sight during this puzzle solving adventure, which, if you know anything about me, you know I feel, I don't see. But every once in a while, I get my sight and then it gets disappeared from me. That's another long story. But during this adventure, I fucking had my sight and I saw this fucking triceratops head thing on a throne to my right when I walked in one of the rooms in the underworld. And I swear to you, I saw this exact thing. And I know this is probably a joke or whatever. This thing, that's exactly what I saw down there. I sent this to my friend that was working with me on that puzzle solving adventure. I was like, what the fuck is this? I just wanted you guys to know that this really exists. That's all. That's it. I just want you to know it really exists. That's it. I'm going to talk to you guys about the underworld. So a few months back, a few of my friends and I were going to clean out the underworld. And not knowing anything about the underworld and being brought up in a church, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be hell or something like this. That's not what it was at all. And I had my sight during this time, which I usually can only feel, not see. And I was like, what the fuck? I can see everything. I could see everything. It was crazy. Basically what we were doing was going through room by room by room of the underworld, like room, which is a kingdom, but we were like our huge fucking seraphim looking things. That's another long story. The long story. But we were down there to clean out the underworld. And what I mean by clean it out, I mean unlock all locks, break all chains, demolish all cages that no longer belong, clean the walls with like what we call scrubby bubbles and chakra beams and all sorts of weird energetic tools that we have, and open safe exit portals and close entrance portals no longer need. I go down there, and right away to my right, I see this triceratops head thing on a throne. I was like, do you guys fucking see that? And of course they did, because they always have sight. I don't normally. And I was like, what the fuck is that thing? And that's what I just made the video about a little bit ago, because someone posted about it. I was like, what the fuck? So anyway, we cleaned out that room, cleaned it all out, cleaned it completely out. And then we went to the next room. Like, this adventure took 2 hours to clean out the 13 different dimensions. And every time we went into a new room, or what we perceived as a room, because we were giant fucking things, but they were like whole kingdoms, entire dimensions. We went into the second room. It was a different theme. And like, theme is the best way I can say it as a human. But like, next I saw like a baby fly, or like a bumblebee flying by with a baby head. I was like, a fucking baby head on a bumblebee. And then another room we would go into is like, well, kingdom, dimension, but it was like all plants, but the plants would like walk around. Like there was like a sunflower with arms and legs like you would see in a cartoon, like that shit. That was there. That was crazy. And the air in there was toxic. Like we had to put on masks because it wasn't conducive to our species, which is another thing that's really bizarre, but it happens sometimes when we go into these different dimensions. So we cleaned that up, and then there was another dimension that was full of like these bug creatures, and we cleaned all that up. And unlock all contracts, promises, vows, curses, spells, all the stuff that doesn't belong. If it's in the highest good, then it's not in the highest good, it needs to go. And like unlock all locks. And like I said, it took 2 hours to clean everything. It was just, we were guided to go there. There were so many different things. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it. Even this one room that was basically filled with what looked like Greek, like Roman giant beings, very human-esque looking, but giants. And when we opened these portals in all these other dimensions, all the portals would open like on the sides and on the ground and on the ceiling, like everywhere. All the proper exit portals would open everywhere. Well, in the dimension with all these like giant royal beings, they only could grasp the concept of going to the portal that went up, because they were more human. So I literally had to get to where they could climb on my back and my shoulders to get up there, and it really hurt, and their boots were digging into me, and that was really weird. But I remember that part, and I wanted to tell you about it because it's really fucking weird. And anyway, the very last that we ever went into down there was a corner office. Hades has a corner office. Not even kidding. Like, it looks like a corner office. Okay, so basically, Atlantis, when anybody talked to me about Atlantis, they'd be like, oh my god, Atlantis is surfacing. Atlantis is the same thing as Antarctica. It's the underworld. It's all over. Atlantis is not an island. Atlantis is not a little continent that sunk. There was everything like fell apart, and there's a lot of truth to all of that, but Atlantis is all the different dimensions, all the different kingdoms are different dimensions, and they're underground, they're under us. um yeah, yeah, and Hades did have a corner office of the underworld, but it's not hell, I'll tell you that much. Now I will say, in one of the kingdoms it was a little bit like what the human concept of hell would be, and they did have beings locked up, and they were like training them, whoever that kingdom was, they were training them for like the end of the world days, but we cleaned that up. That's the only hell like place down there that I saw, but not anymore. And again, that was back in July.